Jai Hind, sir.
जय हिंद शुभम.
Sir, it's an honor for me कि आज table reverse हो गई है. That a person who was in the SSB board is right now in front of me. And sir, the second point is I am jealous of your medal, sir.
Yeah, I know. I can understand what you're saying. But then, that also shows Shubham growing, and that's a good thing to happen, isn't it?
The man you just saw having a medal on his broad chest, his name is Commander N.K. Natrajan. He served for the Indian Navy for years. He is retired now, but he didn't stop serving for the nation. He is now grading officer every day. He is right now a best-selling author of several books, and these are the prominent names of his book, SSB Interview Complete Guide, Psychology, SSB Interview, and one of the prominent GD course, that is SSB Interview Complete Training. All the links are available. Now he come up with a new idea of mission NDA, and in this video he's going to tell you the strategy how to clear NDA in first go. What is going to tell you that how the science student, commerce student and art student should prepare. What should be their strategy, how to prepare maths, how to prepare English, how to prepare GAT, and he also going to reveal the right books for it. And he also going to clear some myths also, and with that he also going to tell that how the Pathfinder should be read or it should not be read. So let's listen to him. Sir, right now we are going to help out those aspirants who are preparing for the NDA right now, who are in their 10th, 11th, 12th. And I like to directly come to the topic. So in NDA, around 7 lakh people go for the written exams, and the final who come in the merit list is around 300. And even those, there are some aspirants who even get recommended but do not come in the merit list. So it seems like
Yeah.
competition is very tough.
Yes.
But the one thing is very common in all the recommended candidates, that they have one common strategy, that they do not prepare all the subjects of NDA, especially if I talk about GAT. I've heard from the recommended candidates that they only prepare physics, chemistry, bio and English for GAT and they qualify for it. How is it possible, sir? There are almost 11 subjects are there: physics, chemistry, bio, history, geography, polity, economics, current affairs, and they are saying only three subjects were there.
Yeah, you see, the marking scheme is a little different. One is you need to get the sectional cutoff. In mathematics, you need to score a minimum of 25% out of 300, and in GS, you need to score another 25% out of 600, right? Now, what happens is that there could be a student who is very strong in mathematics and he scores more in mathematics and he manages to score the minimum cutoff, sectional cutoff of 25% in GAT by going through only physics, chemistry, and English. And it could be the other way around. There are candidates who are not so strong in mathematics, but they could be strong in history, geography, polity, and maybe a little bit of physics and chemistry. So they scored minimum 25% in maths, and then they score more in the GAT. So the final cutoff as to who should be called for the SSB is on the overall marks. So that is how they manage to qualify the overall cutoff of each section. But then what happens is the final elimination or the final selection as to who should be called to SSB will depend on the marks put together of both the sections. And that is why sometimes this strategy does not work, according to me, right? You need to aim at least scoring 400, 450 marks both put together, and then only you'll reach around 375 के आसपास. So then you are in a comfortable zone and you will get called for the SSB.
So, sir, I come to know that you are starting a new program, Mission NDA AFCAT, where you are going to induct 48 students whom you are going to prepare for NDA, going to prepare for SSB, form a right personality for SSB, and you will make sure they get recommended either NDA or TES. Am I right or wrong, sir?
Yes, we have actually started the batch already in 2019 June, where we have already taken 45 students and they are with us. And we are going to be taking the next batch of 48 students next year, that is 2020 June.
Okay, but sir, you are taking them for 2 year complete. Means at that time, their wake up time, their sleeping time, their playing time, their studying time, what they are going to read, how the waiver is going to be there. Everything is under your control.
Yeah, I think that is how it should be. I mean, ultimately, every child should be under the hands of a mentor, and NDA is not a cakewalk. As you said in the beginning, there are 7 lakh aspirants who appear all over the country, and the exam is conducted by none other than U.P.S.C. And out of these 7 lakhs, just about 5,000 people qualify in the written test. And out of this 5,000, just about 300 of them they make it to the NDA. So the competition is very, very intense. And unless these boys, their energy, their intellect is channelized in the proper manner, and they follow a correct regimen, which is very balanced, that takes care of their academic, emotional, physical, developmental aspects, and that is how they will be able to reach the mission. Otherwise, it's not going to be easy.
Okay, sir, I like to come back to the preparation of ND again. So, over like I like to ask you the first thing about GAT. We have talked about that many students able to qualify by just studying physics, chemistry, bio, and English. But as you said, it's important to study other subject to score nearly around 375 marks. Then how to study these subjects?
See, one has to be broad when he begins. Like, for example, every child has done social studies till about 10th. And when he comes to 11th, he picks up the science stream and then aspires to join the NDA. Most of them, right?
Yes, sir.
So now those who take up the science stream, they should not forget the SST. They should parallelly continue to prepare SST from the competitive point of view, because when they studied it for the 10th, it was completely subjective. So they should, maybe 8th, 9th, 10th, 3 years of SST from the NCRT text. They should revise, and parallelly they should refer to a good book, and they should prepare the MCQs from there. And that is how they will be able to appear and score well in the NDA exam. If they suddenly pick up that book or SST towards the end of the 12th or towards just before the NDA exam, that's not going to be possible.
Okay, sir, that means if I just concise your word, you are saying that consider PCM is your 11 12 subject, include one more subject that is GS now.
Yes.
And that's
And
how mission.
that is exactly what we do in Mission NDA of AFPA. We start them with the sixth subject, that is general studies, right from the 11th, from the day one, and the weekly test that we conduct, even GS is part of that. So over a period, everything gets revised, and they are prepared for the GS portion also.
Okay, but don't you think that by revealing your secret, you are cutting the chances of your 48 students?
No, no, I'm not. You see, there are 7 lakh aspirants in the country, and I am only taking 48 students out of them. And it is not only about passing the written test. There are 5,000 people, 7,000 people, they qualify the written test. How about those 300 who finally make it in the SSB? That's the greatest challenge, and that's our forte, and that's where we are known to be number one in India.
Okay, so I like to move forward with that. You said the person should consider the PCM and GS as an additional subject in their preparation in their 11
Yes.
12. But GS of what class? 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, or what class they need to study?
I already said that 8th, 9th, 10th NCRT.
Only NCRT. No other book is needed.
No, that is NCRT is the base, and when they read the text, they should pick up a parallel book based on MCQs, and if they finish one particular chapter, they should refer to the MCQs of that chapter, and then they practice that.
Okay, but from where? Because in NCRT there is no MCQ best of my knowledge. So from where
No,
to?
there are other books available for the NDA, so they should refer to those books, and there are enough MCQs that are given in those books.
So would you like to refer any book?
I would rather prefer Disha 10,000 questions MCQs. There is a book. It's a good book, and it lays out chapter by chapter the theoretical aspect, and followed by a whole lot of MCQs, possible MCQs from that chapter. So when the boy reads that particular chapter from the NCRT, and then he opens up that MCQ portion and he does the entire MCQs, there should be nothing else more required thereafter.
Okay, so sir, if we move little forward, now there is a challenge for the students who are from commerce or art stream, I mean to say, they can handle the maths somehow. But as a science is a challenge because they have leave in the 10th, then what strategy they have to choose? Because for the science stream people, you have said choose GS and read past 8, 9, 10th book. So what do you like to say to art and commerce people?
Yeah, it's going to be slightly more difficult for them because they will be good in GS in any case. Because if somebody is studying arts, he's going to be following the GS portion. It is going to be easy for him. And the commerce may have to, he has that, arts or commerce bent of mind, so he will have to study GS. But there is a full section on mathematics, which is based on 11th and 12th. So it's going to be difficult, but then if they want to do, they have to, follow the mathematics of 11th and 12th parallelly, like the science students will, follow GS parallelly. These guys will have to follow maths parallelly.
Okay, sir, suppose hypothetically a student has qualified for the NDA written. I'm just taking a stream little different. I will come back to the NDA. So, what strategy or what somehow how should he develop the personality for the armed forces? Because in the armed forces combat field, panic and emergency situation is every time, and that do not happen in last 2 years of his life. The life is very static. Wake up in the morning, get ready for the school, do the breakfast, whatever is needed for the school, just prepare for it and do the necessary coaching to get the good marks and the same day repeat every day. So I don't think so he get a chance to improve his personality.
That's exactly the problem, and that's exactly the reason why the selection rate in the SSB is so low. Typically, the 11th and 12th students, like you described, they spend most of their time with the books. Now, when are they going to learn other aspects of their life? They don't read anything other than the curriculum. They don't even read newspaper. They don't even go and play a sport. These are things that they will not take part in any socio-cultural activities. Obviously, you may be good in academics by just studying the curriculum, but SSB doesn't care. I mean, there are guys who have scored only 59% in their 12th and they made it in the SSB, and they are there in the academy even. So it is the overall persona of the person which is what is important. While you need to be good at studies, you also need to develop your other aspects of your personality, for which you need to have varied interests. You need to play sports, you need to take part in dramatics, cultural competitions, socio-economic, socio-cultural activities. You should engage yourself in organizing events, make friends, have fun, frolic, go for adventure. All this is important part of life. At the same time, read newspaper, watch news, be aware of what's happening in and around you. That's very much a part of it.
So that seems a very broad words because that personally now they have to manage. I come to know even a student in your academy do a mistake like similar like NDA it's happened. They get a team ragda. One do a
Yes.
mistake, everyone going to be punished. And that's develop social relativity, teamwork and everything. But can you just precise the things for those who are not able to go into join because you have only 48 seats available? And that's not possible that from entire India everyone can join you. So can you just precise that what should in a personality he can do?
See, it is not important to get. It is not important to get ragda to develop team spirit. Even when you are playing football or volleyball or any sport for that matter, it's all about losing and winning. So when you lose a game, it's fine, doesn't matter. You bounce back the next match and do well. When there are so many good examples, when you play and your opponent falls down, you go and pick him up, and you happen to hit a shot and instead of the ball it hits him, you go and apologize. I mean, these are basic traits of a good human being, and this can be best learned on the field. So I feel the all these kids should just enjoy, go and let loose, go and play some sport in the evening, spend an hour or two. Don't be a bookworm. That's not going to help. You may score 90%, but you will definitely fail in the SL.
Okay, I like to come back again to this. I mean NDA part, sir. Now in the NDA, I like to come on the part where we talk about the maths, sir. Maths are very important where there are the number of big subjects. I mean big chapters were there, like integration. differentiation, trigonometry, which have long formulas are there. So, and if I just divide in two parts, NDA paper, maths, then around 25 to 30% questions come directly based on formula, and rest question come on the application base. Now, what the fun part is, whether they are application based or direct formula based, they all have a same marks granted to all the questions, right, sir? So over here, what person's strategy, I mean, what student strategy should be there for it?
See, if somebody is not very strong in mathematics, right? So what did I say in the beginning? I said the sectional cutoff is 25%. So, and like you're saying now, 25 to 30% is formula based, and that's the easiest to attempt. So your strategy, if you're not strong in mathematics, your strategy should be to secure these 25 to 30% of questions which are based on formula. And now, over and above, whatever you are able to solve in the application part, that becomes your bonus. So you have cleared your sectional cutoff, and let me also tell you, when they examine or when they correct the papers, they first correct the mathematics paper. They don't touch the GAT.
Okay,
And if you're not scored 25% cutoff, if you're not secured that much mark, they don't even touch your GAT paper, you're declared fail.
okay. So first you have to clear the cut of the maths, which is 25%, then only
Yes.
they will come to the GAT. Okay, that's
Yes.
important. Okay.
So you need to make sure that you secure 25 to 30% of the questions and get that cut off. And thereafter, whatever number of questions you do over and above that based on application, that's your bonus.
So I like to go deeper in the math section. There are 120 questions, 300 marks are there. So over here, if I just count 25% of 300 marks, that is 75 marks. That's it. That means a person do not need to do complete paper of maths. Even he do just 50% paper of NDA, then he will surely going to make it.
No, 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 it's not that. He will make it in the maths sectional cutoff. And then he has to now score in the GAT very well so that he is there in the overall cutoff. Otherwise, 75 he will get it here, and out of the remaining 600, he suppose he gets another 25% there, that is 150. 150 plus 75, 225, he is going to be nowhere in the merit. He will not even be called for the SSB, definitely.
Okay, so somehow that person has to manage two things. First, clear the cutoff and make the total of 375 around. Okay, so if we move little forward, sir, I like to talk about English. Now, if we talk to the recommended candidates, we come to know a very simple words of them. That is, for NDA, we didn't study English. We just go with our knowledge, what we have studied in the CBSE board, or what we read books or movies or watch movies, and we have cleared the English part. Out of 50, they easily do 30 questions, which easily help them. So I don't think so that rule apply for everyone. It may apply for some, but not for all. So what should our strategy, NDA aspirant should do?
See, it's very simple. If you see the state curriculum of CBSE,
Hmm.
it is not only about literature or poetry. It has sections of grammar, it has sections of composition and written work. So these kind of exercises, when he goes through, he learns the basics of grammar. And because there is and if you see the NDA written English paper, it's all based on grammar. So it is about spotting the error. It is about synonyms, antonyms. It is about comprehension. There's an ancient passage. So he's already doing it in 11th and 12th, or even in 10th. He's doing that. So he's naturally getting prepared for this kind of a competitive English, which is there as part of NDA. But this may not be true for all state boards of the country. The different states have different patterns, all kind of books they read, and there are schools in the state board I have seen where they teach English also in Hindi. So obviously those guys will not find it very easy to solve the NDA English paper, and also they'll find it very difficult to crack the screening test because they will not have the basics of English. Whereas the CBSE guys, they naturally do well, and they don't have to do really anything extra for the written NDA English part. Well, that's part of their 10th, 11th, 12th curriculum.
But sir, question still left. what book should they read, what should they do? Because I like to even like to challenge your words, sir. You said it's more about grammar, but I like to say over here that somewhat 50% about reading, comprehension, error spotting, para jumbles, jumble sentence. So it's almost 50% paper is of reading, sir. Somewhat they have to get some reading habit, and somewhat they have to be in exact in the grammar also.
Obviously, obviously. I mean, what I'm saying is, one is, see, if you see the CBSE curriculum, it comprises of passages, writing passages. It comprises of the comprehending a paragraph and answering certain questions. And it is also based on spotting the error, jumbled up sentences, all part of the curriculum. Of course, what he's saying is very, very true. In addition to your normal English curriculum, any person should he should read the basics. If not anything else, at least he should read newspaper, because that will teach him the sentence construction. I'm telling you very honestly, I don't know English. You may be surprised what I'm saying. I have
Yes, I am.
authored 11 books.
Okay.
I have authored 11 books, but if you ask me what is pronoun or what is verb, I will not be able to tell you. I'm being very candid. But I know how to form sentences because I am a vivid reader. I have read hundreds of books. I read newspaper every day. I read blogs. I write blogs. I have learned English naturally. But if you ask me technically the grammar part, I will not know.
Okay. Okay. So the best seller, best, I mean, a person who is already be an officer for the several years in the I mean, Navy, in the Navy, is saying that reading is the only key.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. And sir, I come to know about that you are also an average student when you are in your academics. I mean, when you are in school, you are the kind of student who scores 60, 70%, even lower sometimes.
Oh my God, had I scored 60% or 70%, my parents would have kept me on their heads. They would have they would have taken care of me like anything. I scored 58% in my 10th and 56% in my 12th, or the vice versa. 56 in 10th and 2% increment in 12th. So I was that bad. So
Okay.
what?
Okay. So a person can look, I mean, a student can look into you, and surely he can become like you. Okay, sir. Sir, I like to ask one more thing. When a person is coming to you, there is surely a problem of schooling is there. They are coming from UP, they are coming from Delhi, they are coming from some other part of the country. How the schooling will be done, sir?
No, we have our own school in the campus.
Okay, you have a 112 acre of campus, and in that you have school, you have your own academy, and they you take care of everything.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sir, I like to drill one more part of the math section. That is that we have seen that there are certain topics which come very frequently. Trigonometry, calculus, and other topics also. But in the recent year, we have saw that certain topics also get a jump, like quadratic equation, statistics, where in the past 3 to 4 questions come. Right now, 12 to 15 questions also come from these section. How a student should deal with such pattern, undefined pattern of U.P.S.C.
See, normally a intelligent student will make sure that he is able to do 50 to 60 questions correctly within the given time. And he studies the pattern very closely. And if you see 3 to 4 topics will cover about 50% of the paper. So these
Okay.
topics are calculus, integral differential both, trigonometry, and probability, and a quadratic equation kind of this thing pattern. So first he will master this, and then he will go for those chapters which has very less weightage, or it has, I mean, there are few questions coming from those chapters. See, ultimately what happens, typically like in mission NDA, what we do in AFPA, till June we finish the entire curriculum of 12th. So that leaves us with July and August, because this year the exam is in September, 6th of September to be precise. So these 2 months we will grind them on topics, on chapters which gets maximum questions from where maximum questions come from. And then we will see whatever extra time is left, we will do the minor chapters so that they are that much more, better off. So that is how one should focus. If you do broad-based studies, you will end up nowhere. So identify those four chapters, five chapters which account for 60% of the total questions, and that is fixed, I can tell you. It is only the minor chapters where sometimes there is no question from one chapter and more questions that come from statistics, or there is no question from somewhere else and something else is written up, say matrices or something. So pick up those four chapters, five chapters, and do your best in that. Make sure that you are able to do 50% of the questions comfortably. Baki bonus hai.
Okay, so I concise your word. When you're in 12th, you have to make sure that your whole syllabus of 11th, 12th should be ended by June, because in September
Yes,
there is an exam.
yes,
Okay. And sir, I have one more questions right now, that you take RD Sharma and NCRT both for the preparation.
yes,
So maths is interesting to do, but it take a lot of time. So what
yes.
should be the pattern to do NCRT? Because in NCRT there is a math section also where example is there, exercise is there, then miscellaneous is there. And same pattern
Yeah.
goes with RD Sharma, but the number of questions increases.
See, NCRT you must do, there are not too many questions in NCRT, let me tell you. You must do the basic examples and then you must go and do the miscellaneous portion. When it comes to R.D. Sharma, you will find there are different types of questions from each chapter that he covers. A particular type he will give 20 25 examples or 20 25 questions to solve. The next type he will give another 25. You don't have to do all the 20 25. One type of question, do about 5, 6, 7 of them. Once you get the grip of it, you understand, move ahead and do the next type of question, another 6, 7 questions, 8 questions, then move ahead. That's how you should go. There's no need to, do all the examples given of each type from the book. One type, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions, whatever your time permits, and then move on to the next type, third type, fourth type, sixth type, chapter is over. That is how you should selectively do practice.
Okay. Sir, I like to ask one more counter question, that the past year, we have heard from the recommended candidates who got selected for NDA, they stress on the past year of NDA. UPSC do not repeat its question. UPSC do not even put the same digits ever. Even do not put a single word in a repeat. Then what is the use of doing a past year paper, sir?
Like I said, R.D. Sharma, if you typically take one chapter, there are different types of questions. Under each type, there are certain examples or exercises he has given. So while the exam past question papers will not repeat the same question, but then there will be some question of that particular type which may have come in the past.
Okay. So
So when
that
you practice the old test papers, you get that confidence that you are able to solve it.
okay. Okay, sir, I like to ask one counter question over here, that a person should practice past year while they are preparing one chapter, or they should do the past year in the June month in of their 12th class.
Now, what we follow in Mission NDA of AFPA is till June they should do NCRT and Adi Sharma and parallelly. That's what we make them do. Like 1 week there is a subjective test, there is another alternate week there is a MCQ test. So that's how we prepare parallelly for both, right? After June, the next 2 months that we put them to through the NDA preparation, we don't do the subjective. We only focus on the objective and plus the past year question papers. The last 10 days of those 2 months, like July last 10 days, we will make them do 10, at least 10 papers of the past previous years to see whether they have reached that level where they'll be able to at least solve 60-70% of the questions that are there.
Okay. So one more, I like to put a question over here. I heard from every candidate who have qualified and written. They say one book you must have, Pathfinder. What is in it? It is around 1,000 page book. Why are students like to get that book and how to use it?
See, we don't refer to that, to be honest, and because that book, though it is 1,000 pages or so, it's very concise. I mean, just by reading that book, it is not going to be easy, right? I mean, that's what my personal perception, and so is the perception of my faculty here. So, R.D. Sharma is the best book for mathematics, and Disha like I said, 10,000 MCQs is the best book for general studies, physics, chemistry, bio, and English. And if time permits, if you want to take and solve a few more examples from Pathfinder, then no harm. But purely banking on Pathfinder is not correct. Your base is NCRT plus RD system of formats, and your base is NCRT plus MCQs that are there in that book, which I told you, Disha. And then additionally, you can go ahead and solve as many questions as possible, time permits.
Okay. Sir, I've heard from every recommended candidate or who has qualified written that the pattern of CBSE is to do step by steps. They focus on tricks. What is the importance of the tricks?
You see, in the NDA, you need to solve 120 questions of mathematics in the given time, that is 3 hours, and it's not going to be easy, right? So you need to learn these short tricks parallelly. So at AFPA here in Mission NDA, what we do is when we conduct the subjective and when we conduct the MCQ test, that is weekly alternate week test, we also teach them the short tricks because that helps them in solving the problem quickly. You can't go step by step like you do in the CBSE, you will run out of time. So if you can learn the short tricks from somebody, some teacher outside, and if you can implement that and practice based on the short trick, you will be able to solve those many extra questions, and that's the key of doing well in competitive exams.
Sir, as a mission, NDA AFWA is going to induct 48 students, but still a question going to be intriguing in the minds of the viewers that how they going to register you.
CA selection process is very fairly simple. उन्हें आपका.in में जाना पड़ेगा और उसमें मिशन एनडीए में रजिस्टर करना पड़ेगा और जैसे वो रजिस्टर करते हैं एक आधी दिन के अंदर विदिन 24 आवर्स ही विल गेट अ ई बुक बाय ईमेल and the child should go through the e-book for about, they will give them about 1 month time from the time they enroll or from the time they register, and thereafter we will send a examination link online and the child has to take the exam. एग्जाम से पहले उसे फोन आ जाएगा, उसे पूरा ब्रीफ कर दिया जाएगा and then he will be given a time slot and he will sit on and he will take the online test. All those who score more than 60% marks in the online test, they will be called in the month of April and May for the personal interview and physical test.
Okay, sir, they will be called in the month of April of May. But I have one question to you. Suppose they got enrolled, they got all the 48 being selected. But suppose they are not physically fit. By just view of your eyes, you cannot say he is fit or he is not fit. How will you get the fit person for your academy, sir?
We will immediately offer a provisional admission to them, right? And then these boys will have to go for the final defense medicals and get their medical certification done. ऐसे कई बार होता है, जैसे पिछले बैच में भी हुआ था, बच्चे 52 एनरोल हो गए थे, जब हमने मेडिकल कराया कुछ बच्चों का मेडिकल प्रॉब्लम निकला, उनके पेरेंट्स को ही नहीं पता और वो परमानेंट अनफिट है फौज के लिए, तो हमने उनको उसी वक्त मेडिकल करा के उनको घर भेज दिया. हमने कहा कि इस प्रोफेशन में अपना टाइम वेस्ट मत करिए, ये बच्चा आगे जाके मेडिकली रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा. So this is a fairly transparent and a simple process of selection.
That sounds great, but is there any registration end date?
Registration will end by 31st of March, like I said.
Okay, and I hope the few of them, surely those who are watching right now, get into those 48. Okay, sir, that's all from my side, and wish you all the best for Mission NDA AFPA, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you so much, Shubham. Jai Hind.